All right, guys, so welcome to another episode of the Imperfectly Perfect podcast. Excited for this one. It's somebody that I met about 3 years ago at the gym. Just turns out to be one of Hollywood's biggest actors, but I'm going to go into his bio, then we're going to get into a surefire round of questions. So Ricky Whittle was born in Oldham, Lancashire, so he's a Lancashire lad. His father was in the Royal Air Force, which meant travelling the world to different bases. He was scouted to play as a professional footballer for Arsenal and Celtic football clubs, but this was thwarted by injury, and instead he went to Southampton University to read law. Wow. Whilst there, he began modelling. That's where you get those modelling looks from, mate, and became the face of Reebok for 2000. He then moved into acting with a role in the football soap Dream Team. In 2007, he hit British screens with one of my all-time soaps, Hollyoaks. So I can remember that takes me back.
Hangover telly.
That takes me back to the Sunday morning hangover omnibuses.
Every Sunday morning, hungover TV.
Mate, in 2010, he made the decision to chase his ambitions all the way to LA. In 2014, after appearances on TV drama Mistresses and blockbuster movie Edge of Tomorrow, he got his big US break as a recurring supporting role in sci-fi drama The 100, my wife's favorite show. In 2017, he hit the lead role of Shadow Moon in the Starz television series American Gods. Story primarily revolves around a war brewing between the old gods of ancient mythological roots and the new gods of modern technology. Okay, so before we get started, one thing that I read that I loved what you said about the show was its ability to raise awareness. What I'm doing through the campaign, you had said we have various races, cultures, genders, sexual orientations. We don't pick sides, say one's good or bad. We say everyone can coexist. If you believe in your God, it doesn't mean my God doesn't exist. They coexist. I think that's amazing, mate. So firstly, welcome to the show, Ricky.
Thank you for having me. And can't believe you just shamed me. And it's like, we met in the gym. Of course we met in the gym. Like Ricky's always in the gym. I don't go to the gym that much. It just so happened we met.
Yeah,
you could have lied. You could have gone, I met Ricky in the library. He was in the self-help section.
Whilst I was in the section about anything else, I don't know. I could have said, and I'll tell you my quickest thing when I was in LA, I got invited to an out of season Emmy event, and this guy came running up to me, and he was like, "What are you doing here?" At first, I went to, "Oh shit, like I should not be here" or something like that. And he said, "Oh no, you're not him, are you?" And I was like, "Who?" He was like, "Simon Pegg." Honestly, mate, I get mistaken for Simon Pegg and Ronan Keith.
As soon as you started that story, I was like, Simon Pegg, maybe? And you, oh my God, that is brilliant.
I get it all the time between him and Ronan Keith.
I can't believe I didn't clock that before. Dude. I'm disappointed with myself, quite frankly.
Well, you know what? Well, the first time I met you, I was training at gyms and Gold's Gym, and I heard the Yorkshire accent, right? So funny story was, can you remember, it was a couple of days after I'd got to know you a little bit, and I walked in the gym with a friend who's Australian. And we walked in, and you were so welcoming, and you was like, "Glenn, dude," and you give me this man hug, like, and shake. And after you'd walked out of that place, my mate goes to me, "Do you know who that is?" And I was like, "Yeah, Ricky." He was like, "No, seriously, dude, do you know who that is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's Ricky." He was like, "It's fucking Ricky Whittle." I'm like, "Yeah, it's Ricky from the gym." He was like, "He's only the biggest actor in I was like,
the biggest actor from Oldham, from Shore Road Estate, the biggest actor in Shore Road.
Oh, well, you train hard with Mike. It's I was impressed with that. He used to take all the bloody weights though for the leg press.
I can't lie. I mean, American Gods is in several ways has really truly blessed and changed my life on so many levels, but physically. You know, I don't know about kilograms anymore. I've been in America for too long, so everything's in pounds because it's just easier to work with the Americans. But I went from 165 pounds up to 215 pounds because Shadow Moon's got to be this huge, like, monster of an ex-con. And in the very beginning of the book by Neil Gaiman, it's an adaptation from Neil Gaiman's incredible novel, award-winning novel. The first few lines are... big enough, and can you swear on this?
Yeah, of course you can.
It's Neil Gaiman's words, so technically it's him swearing, not me. It's big enough and don't fuck with him enough to get through jail without having to worry about anything but time. So I had to really bulk up for that role, which involved kind of getting myself a trainer for the first time. And so, you know, scouring around, you know, the gyms, you kind of look for people that can help with that. And although at first they took me to Unbreakable Gym, which is a fantastic gym in Hollywood, and they kind of packed on the pounds there. And then where you saw me kind of bulking up for season 2 was Mike Ryan, and he trained, you know, Mickey Rourke, Dwayne Johnson. You know, he's trained some big dudes. And I mean, you know, he's like 60 something, white hair.
Incredible.
He's Santa on steroids.
Yeah.
Like, he's so jacked. Like, this guy's in his 60s and he is absolutely chiseled out of stone. And so I was like, I reckon this guy might know what he's talking about. And so he's from Boston, and he's like the most crass, crude, loud, fun dude you could ever meet. And he's just like, pick up the fucking weight. What are you talking about? Lift the things, you pussy. You skinny bitch. Like, he just bullies you into lifting more and more and more.
Yeah.
But he gets results. And, you know, I really packed on the muscle working with him. And one of the big things was core exercises. And I ended up lifting real heavy, especially when it came to the leg press. And because he kind of found it as like a little badge of honor. Because in Gold's Gym, you've got people who go there for novelty value. Gold's Gym's a famous gym, and so it's where Arnold Schwarzenegger worked out, and he still works out to this day. You know, about 7 o'clock in the morning, he's in there. He's great, lovely dude. But you can have people that go like once a year, once a month, to athletes, fitness models, to full-on bodybuilders, Phil Heath kind of Schwarzenegger bodybuilders.
Yeah.
But the thing is everyone lifts very different. And sometimes you get these guys in there that are just there for the show. Mm. And so they come in with they're literally wearing pieces of string, like just to get past you have to wear a shirt rule. And you're just like, dude, you're not even wearing a shirt. You're wearing candy. You're wearing dental floss right now. It's like, what are you doing?
Covering their nipples. That's it.
It's covering your nipples, and you don't even have tit tape. Come on. But when you hear them lifting, they need the whole gym to know. And so they're just like, yeah. And Mike's just like, look at these fucking idiots. Rick, go and do a set with them. Because I don't know why, but Mike calls it bug strength. He says I lift like a bug. I've got bug ant strength.
Right.
Because for some reason, I can just lift a lot, especially with my legs. And even though he rips my legs for having schoolgirl legs, he's like, you can outlift these dudes. And so they're lifting half the way I'm doing, screaming the gym up. Yeah. And so he'd call over and go, hey, fucking pussy, check my guy out. As I silently lift like more than twice whatever they're pushing. He's just a fun guy. He's crazy, absolute crazy. But, you know, Gold's Gym's, you can understand why it's a famous kind of tourist attraction in LA. It's a lot of fun, a lot of crazy. The biggest, most beautiful, terrifying crazies go to Gold's Gym.
But it's a beautiful community, isn't it, as well? Like when you get
it surprised me, you know, because when I went to hire Mike Ryan, I thought, and he told me, I work out Gold's Gym in Venice, and I was like, I don't want to go to Gold's Gym. It's just all steroids and like weights heads and stuff like that. After I've just told the story about a bodybuilder with strings. But then you get there, and it literally is full of people just like loving life. You know, everyone's just there having fun. Like if you're lifting, someone will just like, and it's not like a come on. It's not like when you go to, you go to these Equinox gyms and things like that in West Hollywood, and I've got a rule. This is a rule that I think most women have. If you've got headphones on or earphones in, both mean do not talk to me unless I'm on fire.
Yep.
If you've got one, maybe you want to work in. And then if you've got none in, then you're fair game. Because everyone tries to hit on everyone in the Equinox gyms and in those kind of Hollywood gyms. So Gold's Gym's not really like that. People are just there to actually train. And when someone taps you on the shoulder, it's usually like some sort of advice or a compliment.
Yeah.
Without that need to kind of get in your pants sort of thing. It really took me back. You know, you got these big guys and girls and stuff who were just like they'll just say hi to say hi, and what you're working on today? Oh, cool. Have a great day.
Yeah,
And you know, it's a great community, like you say. You know, it really surprised me. And you know, a lot of the big dudes as well are always like, you know, I'll ask them. I'm like, dude, I don't even know what that muscle is, but that's a muscle on top of a muscle that I've got. How'd you do that? And they'll just take you through it. They're really good people. I recommend anyone to go and check that out for a day.
I love that place. One of the things that used to confuse me though, because I was on vacation, but I'd go for about 3 months. It was like
3-month vacation.
Well, you know what I mean. I was going over there.
That's moving house, bro.
So I'd go primarily in the morning, and I'd go back in the afternoon later. But I'd see the same faces, and I was like, it confused me. I was like, what do you do for a job? Like, do you not work here? And then some of them was like, oh, I'm an influencer. And I'm like, what are you influencing? Each to their own. But they were there all day.
I'll to this day, I'll never understand that tag, like on social media.
I don't get
like
it.
That's what I'm gonna upset people, but that's like one of my huge turnoffs. Like if you check out someone's social media and it's like I'm a public figure or I'm an influencer, I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. Because I think it's different when it comes from, and the people you now get to associate with them, that there's a difference between an influencer or an influential person.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And for me, you know, when I grew up, you know, I don't want to like show my age here, but everyone grew up to want to be like, yeah, you want to be famous, but you want to be a famous actor or a famous musician or a famous dancer or a famous, you know, pilot or something. But you have a craft, you have an ability. And don't get me wrong, it does take an ability to be a YouTuber and you know, influencer and stuff like that. You know, you're not just latching on for no reason. People do have talents, but for me, it's crazy to see these people make like the TikTokers now, where they're just doing. I'm not on TikTok, but I see people doing this, and I'm like, what are you doing? And they're making bank, like money, serious bank. And then you've got incredible dancers like ballet, jazz, like modern R&B, hip hop. People who've trained and been to schools and like lessons, and they've put all their savings into it, super qualified.
Yeah.
And they're living like paycheck to paycheck because they can't even like get that kind of following like within like an ounce of what they get on TikTok and things like that. It blows my mind. It really does.
I'm with you, and I think it's got to a point, even the entertainment industry, I noticed in Australia, they were doing advertisement, because I've got friends in the industry, and it was like, you can only apply for these auditions if you've got 50,000 followers and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is this world coming to? Like, that's talent.
I was in a show, and they nearly didn't give this actor the role, who was best for the role, because he didn't have a social media. So he had to get Twitter in order to be hired. Like that was a thing. And I was just like, what? Because you got to look at nowadays. I mean, I'm an absolute media whore when it comes to pimping my show. I mean, this is my press area. So that's why this is all up on the walls. I'm doing press all day, every day at the moment. So I just set this up and it's just good to go.
Yeah.
But you know, one of the most expensive parts of making a movie or a TV show is the PR and marketing afterwards. And it's placing that product, you know, in the eyes of the consumer, be that on commercials, billboards, across social media, but it costs money, a lot of money. One way around that is to have people with followings who can just post for free. It's free advertising for them. So, you know, I can post something and they're getting instant kind of media coverage because I've put something out there online. And I have, you know, whatever following I have. So it's crazy how the industry's going. And following, you know, COVID and the pandemic, the whole industry's shifting. You know, no one's going to movie theaters and things like that. So the industry's kind of shifting to streaming very much because we can't have crowds right now. And so, you know, it's a very unstable kind of world right now when it comes to my industry. And it's always moving. And you kind of have to, you know, evolve or perish, unfortunately. So That's why I don't follow anyone on my Instagram. I constantly get this question like, you don't follow anyone on your Instagram. And why? You think you're so cool and hot, and who do you think you are, Beyonce? Yeah. And I'm like, no, I just hate social media.
But
like,
you've got a good answer for this, because I've heard you say this before, whether at the gym, and you answered it perfectly, because you associate it to, you just need to know who your closest and nearest and dearest are, don't you? So you ring them.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, don't get me wrong, I play the game because I know that I need to push what projects I'm doing. I need to push my truth out there. If anything comes out, I need to, well, I don't need to, but I like putting out positivity and light and love. But at the end of the day, social media is only posting the highlight reel of people's lives. Don't get sucked into people thinking that they're living these perfect lives. No one's living a perfect life. I'm not posting me like crying into some ice cream, like what after I've had a bad day, or I feel tubby, or I didn't get the role I wanted. Like, yeah, I fell down the stairs the other day. It cracked me. I came down, and I'm doing what I always do. I carry too much, and so I had a tray, and I had a glass of orange juice, and I was coming down the stairs, and I was wearing socks. I don't know why, because I'm normally barefoot. I'm in the house. I never leave the house. And I slipped down the stairs, and you know where you're like, and you hit every step on the way down. I'm like, and so I hit every step, and I just lay there, but I hadn't spilled a single drop of my orange, and I'm just like lying at the bottom of the stairs with this tray of food like on my chest, holding my glass up, kind of just like laughing to myself, just like feeling sorry, going, it's gonna leave a mark. And I just lay there feeling sorry for myself for like about 20 seconds before I got up, just like I just need a minute. I just need a minute, like as if that's the worst thing in my life. I fell down the stairs, but like, I'm okay, relax. But the funny thing is when I actually eventually got to sit down on the sofa in front of the TV, as I sat down, I've missed the chair and spilled my orange juice all down my face and all down my front. I saved it, like literally must have been like 15 steps. I fell down, not a drop. I got to sit down on the sofa, straight down my face, all down my front. I was just like, I was just meant to be thirsty that day. I was just not meant to have a drink.
I was just going to say, did it not take you back of your cat reflexes if you ever went out when you was younger and you was drinking and you managed to fall, but that pint was always in its full. Someone bumped into you and it's
no, like... I don't drink now. I've not drunk for like 10 years. But I never liked beer, champagne, lager, wine. I only ever drank shots. So I never had a drink in my, like whenever you saw me out, you would never see me with a drink in my hand because it was gone.
Wow. Was you a cheap date then?
But that's the problem. I was a sportsman, so I was big, stuff like that. But we're British, so we drink. You start to develop a kind of like immunity. So I used to just smash stuff back. And when I come to America, none of them drink like the British drinks. So like the Sambucas and the Jaeger bombs and things like that. So I come over here and I'm smashing back Sambucas. They're not used to that sort of drink. They're falling all over the place. I end up like with one friend over this shoulder, another friend over this shoulder. I'm like the designated, bodyguard to get them home. It's terrible, man. We definitely give the Brits a bad name in America.
Every time I go over there, like I'm going to get into some serious questions soon, mate. But it's just too much fun.
No, what are we actually talking about? We're just talking about getting smashed. This is what we do, though.
But it's every time I go over there, and somebody was like a couple of them from Gold's Gym, and I got really good friends, and it was like, oh, let's go out for drinks and that. And it was like I don't drink. I mean, like dinner and just a couple of drinks with friends and that. I haven't drunk since we had our first child and got like I had a pint. My wife had one glass of wine. The babysitter went home. We've got no family here. We had a screaming baby and was like, never again. Never touched it since. And he's now 9 years old. But everyone in LA, I was like, okay, what time should we meet? Like 5, 6 p.m. And they're like, are you talking about? We'll meet about 11, we'll have a couple of drinks, then we'll go for dinner. And I'm like, I'm normally tucked up in bed by at least 10, 11 p.m. What are you talking about? And they start their nights at like 11 p.m. And I'm like, I don't get that. I still can't do that. And now I'm a dad, I can't do it even more. But
I don't even have that. I don't even have that excuse. Like, I find it great. Like you, man, congrats on your family. And I love, wish you nothing but love, health, happiness, and success with that. But I find it strange that my friends are having babies on purpose.
On purpose.
It's so weird because I still feel like a child. I still feel like I'm at university. I had chocolate for breakfast. I don't live a normal life. I'm a child. I shouldn't be alone. I shouldn't be left to my own devices.
You know what, though? Lincoln is now 8 and Leighton's just turned 2. And I sat with my wife the other day and like we're watching Leighton and she's like, they're totally different. He's placid. And we didn't name Lincoln after you, but we love that name.
You did. It's okay. You can say it.
We'll say that. But my little girl, she's like got a mind of her own. And me and my wife sat there the other day and I was like, do you actually feel like a parent? I can't look after myself. And we've got 2 kids, so it doesn't stop, mate. It does not stop. But
yeah, I guess so.
I want to ask you a serious question now. So I saw something when I reached out to you again for the podcast because I thought it was really, really good. And attesting to obviously Imperfectly Perfect and talking about imperfections and like you're saying, like nobody's perfect. You put something the other day that was really, really profound. And you put, you think you know me, who I am, my thoughts, my beliefs, race, dream, struggles. The same way I know nothing about you, you have no clue who I am unless you have spent time with me. We are always so quick to comment, judge, and assume without knowing people or their struggles. And this is everything about the campaign because it's like, unless you've walked a mile in someone else's shoes. So I always say, everyone thinks they know Ricky Whittle, the persona, what you've done, the highlight reels. Tell us about that Lancashire lad with his dreams and everything that you've had to go through to get where you are. In good time, mate. I don't want like you be like, how long have we got?
I mean, how long have I got? One of the things I have to say is that there are certain things that I've never kind of given. Like, we live in a very kind of strange industry where people feel like they've got an ownership over you and your characters. They feel like they own you and they've got a right to tell you who you are. And you have to fit into their definitions and you have to fit into what, they think you are and what they need you to be for them, without any consideration of you and your life and your struggles. I mean, we look at the incredible Chadwick Boseman recently just passing from cancer. Before that was found out, social media, bloggers galore were ripping into him for losing weight and saying he needs to put weight on if he thinks he's going to play Black Panther again and all this sort of stuff. And I don't like him losing weight. He looks sick and blah, blah, blah. And it's like that kind of insensitivity is what's wrong with social media and people nowadays. Most of the time, your opinions aren't warranted. Nobody needs that opinion. Everyone feels like they've got, an opinion that they have to share with the world. You know what? Sometimes you don't. Yeah. Especially when you don't know what people are going through. To the point where I will go and I'll see someone with road rage in the street and I'm like, no worries, bro. You do you on your way. Because I don't know. He could be rushing home to a house fire. His wife's pregnant, having a baby, or he could be on his way to murder someone. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's nothing to do with me. And I'm not going to let that influence me and mess my day up. It comes from it starts from the parents at the end of the day. I feel very blessed in life. I'm a very positive, happy person. My parents aren't together. They're divorced. They divorced when I was at university. So I was old enough to understand that people can just fall out of love. People can drift apart, and whatever reasons they were, it's their business. It happens. But I was born out of love. People are very quick to kind of define me as this and that, but I'm a biracial man. My mother, Maggie, is a beautiful Caucasian, blonde, blue-eyed woman. My queen, my everything. I'm a mama's boy. My dad is my idol. Big, powerful, black, brown-eyed Jamaican king. He is my superhero growing up. I even took him to like a show and tell at school because he's in the Royal Air Force. And to me, he was a superhero. He flew helicopters, like when we were kids, we saw very little of my dad. And so every now and then he would fly the helicopter over the house, because we live all in the Royal Air Force. You live on an Air Force base, and so everyone's, you know, there. But he'd fly his helicopter over the house, circle, shine the spotlight onto the house and in the garden and things like that. Or if it was during the day, he'd just circle and then not off on whatever he was doing, just to let his kids know that even though he's not really around, he's always watching. You know, he's there. And it might not have even been him. Yeah. You know, he might have got one of his friends to go, listen, just give a quick loop around my house for you and shine a light, just so my kids think it's me. You know, if he was too busy or doing something else. But it's just kind of that mentality that my dad had of thinking of others, of thinking how other people feel and what they need. And I feel that's something that's been inherited from my parents. I'm also a big brother. I'm the eldest of three. My little brother, Chris, and my youngest sister, Deborah. I've always had this kind of big brother mentality and a need to kind of look after them, which has kind of moved on to my work. You know, as I become the lead of a show, I'm very protective, and I kind of get very kind of big brotherly with my cast and my crew, and I look out for them. When I see them, I walk in always smiling. I'm bouncing around. I'm always dancing, cracking jokes. You know, I'll order kind of, you know, food trucks and burger trucks and ice cream trucks every now and then just to keep the morale up, because, you know, it's about just having fun and loving life. We're in a very privileged industry. And so I kind of feel like that mentality came from always looking out for my brother and sister, because I wanted them to have, you know, a great time. And so I came from a house full of love. I was very fortunate, very lucky. We were not the richest at all. You know, I came from, you know, I brought up in Oldham and all sorts. You know, I've seen some stuff. I've seen some very bad stuff that I don't need to go into, but I definitely had some dark times when I was a kid. So to the point where I was very much on the edge when we lived in Northern Ireland, Belfast, just outside of Belfast. I used to have a proper Northern Irish accent. I used to talk like that 24/7, so I did. I was talking dead on. But like, I used to go back to my grandma and she'd be like, why are you talking like that? And I'd be like, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I sound normal.
Bloody hell.
But I was very close. I was on the edge, you know, because, you know, when you get to certain ages, sometimes you rebel and you're mixed with wrong crowds and stuff like that. And I was just always fighting. You know, I was an English kid in an Irish school. I was a Catholic in a Protestant school. I was a soccer player in a rugby school. You know, just everyone. I was a black kid in a white school. You know, like every day someone wanted to fight. And, you know, it wears you down. I never started a fight, but I definitely finished a lot, you know. And I'd get into group fights and all sorts of stuff. And you know, we ended up moving, as you do every 3 years in the Royal Air Force. And it was when I got to Reading, Berkshire. And I just kind of had to, I as a kind of 16-year-old lad, I kind of decided, nobody knows me here. Nobody knows my past. No one knows what I've been doing or who I am or anything. It's clean slate. Let's start again. Let's try something different. And I'm really proud of the kid that made that choice. As a 16-year-old, making that choice to go, you know what? That was a tough time. We can be better. We can do better. And that was a very conscious choice to change the direction of my life and to focus on the positivity instead of the negativity. And so I just tried to be the good guy. I continued to be that big brother and look out for people, but without the aggression, without the fighting, without the kind of looking for trouble or the need to prove myself. I feel like when I was younger, I was always trying to prove that I was the alpha, prove that I deserved to be there. And then, you know, you kind of just grow from there. It's as you get older, you get more experience. You realize what's important in life. Your circles get smaller. You know, as you get older, you very rarely have the same friends you had at school and university and things like that. As you get older, your circles get tighter and tighter. And so when I say I with social media, I don't follow anyone because, you know, the people that I am close to, if I want you to see something, I'm going to call you, I'm going to text you. And same to me, you know, you'll speak to me, you'll text me, you know, or you'll FaceTime me, or you'll send me something if you want me to see it. You know, the whole world doesn't need to see all my life. And so, you know, I've got a very, very tight circle of very few people, probably less than 10 people, to be quite honest, that I constantly am in contact with, that were from before kind of American Gods. Obviously, I'm still in contact with the cast pretty much every other day. But as the career's kind of developed and done well, I just felt more of a need to push that positivity and that light and love, realizing that my life could have been very different if I had continued to, you know, follow a darker path, a more aggressive path, a negative path, a path where I felt like I had to prove something. I was always in competition with everyone else. And I eventually figured out as I got older, the only competition is with myself, and being the best version of myself that I can be, and be a better version of me, and be better than I was yesterday or last year. And that's all I'm doing, is just trying to outdo myself, you know, because it's apples and oranges. I don't need to look at this person, that person, and see the career that they're having and the things that they've got, you know, just what do I want? You know, and I need to focus on my dream and focus on me and do you. And I feel that it's so hard to do when you're younger, because you're so influenced by everything else. And especially now where we've got social media. I don't know what I'd be like if I had social media when I was a kid. Like when we were kids, there was no Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. I didn't even have a mobile phone until I was probably about 18.
When it used to be, what was it, Worm or something? That thing, that Worm.
Oh yeah, and you were just like, just black and white, like digital screens. It was outrageous. But yeah, I mean, as I got older, I just realized it's all about just do you, you know. And the more I was speaking to one of the writers actually of American Gods, Nick, fantastic dude, and I was telling him one thing that I've said recently, and he was like, that really hit me when you said this. And I said, you're a ship on the ocean, and just don't let any water in. If you let negativity in, you're going to let that ship sink. You know, you're a ship on the ocean. It doesn't matter how big that ocean is, how much negativity is out there. Don't let it in, because as soon as you start to let that in, that's when your ship can sink. Yeah. If you don't let any of that negativity in, your ship is going to float true for as long as you need it to. And it doesn't matter what's out there. And that's the toughest thing, is people that you don't even know can have an opinion and can reach into your life and throw you sideways. They can say, I don't like your hair, you look fat, you're a crap actor, you're this. And I can choose to respond. I can choose to think about that. I can choose to let that into my ship. Or I can plug that hole and just dust that water off the side. You know, no one's sinking my ship, man. It's all about me living my life, keeping my friends close and my family, and making sure they're good, and just focused on doing me. And it's the toughest thing to do in the world is to not be swayed by everyone else. You know, what everyone thinks of me, it's none of my business.
I love that attitude, because I always say as well, it's like, if you do something and it fails, you're always going to have that person going, I told you that wouldn't work. If you succeed, you've changed as a person, or you're not who I used to think you were. So you can't win either way. So just do you.
I've never been criticized by anyone who's doing better than me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyone who's doing better than me is focused on their dreams, chasing their you know, their perfect lives and stuff, and focused on what they're doing.
Yeah.
The only people who will criticize me are those that are insecure, projecting their fears, their instability of their own lives, their inadequacy, you know, their jealousy. It's people who don't look a certain way, haven't achieved anything, don't have this, don't have that, and they're looking at you thinking, how dare you have a great life? Or how dare you be happy? You know, so just ignore it. You know, it's hurt people. So just, if you can, and it's the hardest thing to do, don't even respond. Just block it out. It's not important. Focus on you, man. Because none of these people know you. Nobody knows you, and nobody knows me. I mean, we spoke. You know, we've known each other for years. you know me. So if you tell me something, I'm going to listen. But Joe Blogs or whatever it is off social media says something, you know, you're a crap actor. I'm like, really? How many Oscars you got? Because I'm not really bothered by your opinion. You know, even critics, you know, you'll have these critics kind of going, this actress or this actor, this performance in this, I don't know. And then you're like, I don't remember watching any of your films.
See, that's one question I like to ask, like, because with critics, when they pan things, I'm almost like, I once heard an actor friend of mine that was watching somebody in a movie, and they was like, oh, I wondered where that person had gone. Oh, but this movie's not being billed really high. And I was like, they're working. Like, they've got bills to pay. I was like, what the bloody hell? Everyone's quick to judge. And I was like, wow.
Well, the thing is, you never know, again, as we're circling back, you never know someone's journey. You never know why they look as an actor, I'm not in control of my image. So if I grow my hair, cut my hair, grow my beard, cut my beard, gain weight, lose weight, dye my hair, whatever it is, change my accent, you don't know if that's for a role. Or you don't know in anyone's world if it's a health thing, if it's a personal thing, if it's a religious, you don't know what's going on in people's lives. But at the end of the day, what's it got to do with you? Who cares? Let them live their life. You know, it's crazy. And when people take jobs, sometimes they take a job because someone's asked a favor. Someone wants, a friend's just got, like, I literally was just speaking to someone today about a movie. And, you know, you've got quotas and stuff, your prices are certain things. And, you know, you've got standards or you've got brands and stuff like that. And I will do his movie in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because he's a good guy. Like, don't get me wrong, he's an incredibly successful guy. And I'm like, you want to be working with this guy because he's fantastic. It's not always a guaranteed hit, but at the end of the day, there's certain people and certain things that you do for various reasons, you know, and you're not looking for a blockbuster every time. Sometimes, you know, in the industry, they say, you know, do one for your wallet, one for your soul. Yeah. You know, you need stuff to pay the bills. And that could be a reason too. A lot of people have kids. A lot of people have, you know, bills to pay. And especially after a pandemic, you're going to see people in all sorts of movies and TV shows popping up. Everyone's unemployed at the moment, so everyone needs a job. So you're going to see people all over the place trying to make that money, pay those bills. But, you know, a lot of like I say, a lot of times it's favors, it's friends doing things for other people, or it's people trying to branch out into different things. You know, you're the funny guy. All of a sudden, no, you know what? I want to do that serious and independent movie, or vice versa. You know, you see.
I'm sorry, mate. I'm trying to hold it in, but like you're talking, and I'm like, it's so grounded and he's got it all together. Then all that keeps coming into my head is these stairs with this orange juice and eating chocolate for breakfast, and I'm like, all right, mate.
I'm never changing, mate. I'm never changing. I'll be 60 years old still eating chocolate. I'm a child. I live like a child. I don't care. I'm okay with it. Because at the end of the day as well, you also got to think that because I'm not working right now, because we're still focused on season 3 of American Gods, and then, you know, a season 4. When I am filming, like Jason Momoa got ripped last year for a photograph on the beach, looking out of shape. They're like, where's his abs? That he's got a dad bod. I'm like, there are dads around. There are people who aren't even dads around the world who would love Jason Momoa's off-season body.
Yeah.
It's not his job to be shredded 24/7 all year round. You know, when you're working, your discipline has to be so strong, because what people don't realize is when people are fit, you know, when the women, you know, look the way they do, and the guys are looking, you know, you see Chris Hemsworth training right now for Hulk Hogan and the next Thor and stuff. When I'm filming my 18-hour days with this cast and stuff, they're incredibly talented, amazing, love them. So we film our 18-hour days, and then they go home and they learn lines. I do that too. Out on top of that, an extra hour and a half to 2 hours of training on top of that. So while they're tucked up in bed sleeping, we have to then go and hit the gym, because the physicality is a part of that role. You know, you have to look a certain way. you either have to be big or shredded or this or certain, different things because of your character or your role. So, when I'm filming American Gods for 4 to 7 months, whatever that may be, you need 3 things to maintain that physique. You need a good diet, nutrition, you need to train, and you need sleep. When you're filming, you can only really have 2 of them. Yeah. Now, all day, every day, I had an assistant who would sort out my diet and come to me with chicken or beef and counting my calories. And so that was maintained. But there are only so many hours in the day. And you then have to choose, am I going to sleep today or am I going to train today? Wow. Because on top of your 18-hour days and you're learning your lines, you then have to also get in that 30-minute fasted cardio in the morning before filming, and then your hour at lunch or after you're filming, wherever you can fit that in. It's crazy, sometimes what actors have to go through, and they get absolutely no credit for it. They just think that you got that role because you're just in shape. You just wake up like that, and in the gym, you're constantly in the gym. It's a lot of discipline to maintain a certain shape, and when you're not sleeping and you're exhausted from learning lines and stuff, like it gets a lot. So I've got props to Chris Hemsworth and all those, like, the big guys, doing some real work out there. Dwayne Johnson's, and don't get me wrong, they're getting paid silly money.
Yeah,
but it's still hard for them. Don't get it twisted. They've still got families that they've got to also maintain. I literally wake up and I eat chocolate. I sit and watch the footy.
Yeah. But you know what? You've just said something there that I hadn't even realized. I've been listening to everyone's stories as I've gone through and chatted with people. But even you going into in depth there with the roles like that, I had no idea. I mean, I spoke to Bobby Holland Hadton, who's like Chris Hemsworth's body double, is an amazing guy, and he started going into that stuff as well, and how being a stunt double, like, I think he broke his back and he had to get his fitness back as well as his sleep, as well as his training, as well as learning. And I'm like, bloody hell, and people don't see this stuff.
No, there's a lot of stuff that people don't realize, and when they look on a screen and it's like, oh, that person looks a little tired or blah, blah, it's like, I'm not surprised, it's a lot of pressure, and don't get me wrong, women have it even worse, because they've got to look, flawless, 24/7. It's ridiculous. Kind of, as soon as they're off camera, they're supposed to maintain this Oscar-winning, look. Like, you'll slate an actress because she's nipped to the store in her sweats and no makeup and her hair tied up, and it's like, how about she's just being herself and she shouldn't have to kind of dress up for you? Like, she's not here to entertain you and to look great 24/7. She does look great because she's working like crazy, and she's just gone to the store, and people would die to look like her.
Mate, it's
unmade up, and the dudes don't have it as much, like, on our off days, because we can look scruffy. But when people went after Momoa, I was like, I'll give him a behave. That's just body shaming at its worst. It's crazy, guys and girls. When you're not filming, do you, man? Do you? So when I'm not filming,
you're eating more
all
chocolate.
the ice cream, all the chocolate. I'm a child.
Well, they did it with there was a thing of Zac Efron. He came over to Australia and they put him in the press, and he just got no abs, and everyone's like talking about it, and I'm going, dad bod? That ain't a bloody dad bod. Like, seriously, everyone would kill for his body, or anyone, like, to this whole point. Like, I think I've told you my story before, like 6-7 years ago, being in the health and fitness sector, I thought I had to look like that. So I got body dysmorphia. So to the point where mine was to my detriment. And then when I opened up about it, which is a testament to why I'm so passionate about this, and then losing a friend, but it was so prevalent in the fitness industry because they think they have to look a certain way, and it doesn't really make you happy. So I always say now, obviously, the campaign, lead by your imperfections, which is going to say to you, what does being imperfectly perfect mean to you, Ricky?
Imperfectly perfect means everyone's perfect the way they are. And I feel that in a world of social media and appearance and blah, 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 where we're afraid to post a picture without a filter on. Be yourself, be that imperfect person, because if you constantly put out this fake highlight reel image of yourself, you're only going to attract people who don't really care or don't realize they don't care about you. If you put your imperfect self out there, whatever size, shape, age, look, belief, whatever it is you're into, put your true self out there, then the people that that come to you, even if it's a smaller group of people, it's people that are coming to you because they like the true self, the true person that you're putting out there, so that you know that those people really love you without you having to put on a song and dance, without you having to put the makeup on, without you having to be the shredded Jack Dewey, without you having to be Mr. Entertainment, the funny guy, constantly holding the room. You know, if you're insecure and you're sad and you have bad moments, then that's a big shock. If you're just this constant funny guy on screen, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden you're a completely different person, and all these people are like, that's not what I thought you were like. So just be you. Just be you, because you're all perfect the way you are. We're all unique. We're all from different backgrounds. We're all different builds, ages, sexual orientations, religions, beliefs. You know, we're black, white, Latin, LGBTQ, we're native. We're all special, every single one of us. And we're special for someone and people that will really truly embrace that, instead of the fake highlight reel that we always want to push forward. That's not us. You know, be you, be the imperfect, perfect person for someone.
Mate, absolutely love that. And I've got one more question for you, so I'm not taking much of your evening up, but
I'm going straight to bed after this. This is it's nearly 8 p.m. here. I am long in bed by now. I'm such a boring. See, this is another thing. People are like, he's a young, you know, successful dude in Hollywood. He's probably like, you know, hitting the club, parties, you know, supermodels. I'm like, no, I'm going to have a cup of green tea and I'm in bed by 8 p.m.
You've just actually prompted a question there really quickly, because what I've learned a lot, and people always attest, they see highlight reels, they see you on shows and everyone else on shows and that. Are you traditionally an extrovert or an introvert? Do you enjoy your own time when you're not on screen?
See, this is the thing. My manager actually pulled me on this. She said, I actually gain energy from other people. She said, you're an energy suck. She was like, I thought you were an extrovert.
Yep.
But you actually gain energy from people. So it feels like you're giving energy. And she's like, you do. You give so much of yourself to everyone and the fans, and you're just 100 miles an hour and you love life. But you also get it from people, because when you're by yourself, you do kind of come back. And she's like, you're so secure in yourself, like being alone. And during this quarantine and pandemic, I'm more than happy just sat, you know, in my routine. I wake up and I train and I watch TV and I'll play some music. I'll paint. I'm learning, you know, me hablo español, me entiendo español, and I'm learning sign. You know, I'm just trying to come out of this better than when I went in. So I am both, which is a cheesy answer. I'm definitely an extrovert, but I am very comfortable kind of having my quiet time. I don't need attention. I don't need to be the center of attention. I don't need to, like, a lot of people work to be seen, and they work to be a famous this, and they want to do this. I'm working to disappear, to be quite honest. You know, I would love to disappear, you know, and have my close people, and to the point where I come off social media. I don't need social media because I'm texting my boy Glenn. I'm texting, you know, my family and friends. If you need to speak to me, or you come round, and I just spend that time with people that are close to me and dear to me. So yeah, a little bit of both. I kind of pussied out on that answer.
No, you know what? It's good though. I've just found there's a lot of people who say very much the similar thing. It's like they have really enjoyed this time in COVID. In retrospect, to go deep in themselves, learn more about themselves, and to develop everything else. But they do like being around people as well. So, yeah.
No, I miss the touch because I am a touchy feely person. Like I miss a good cuddle. You know, I like. Do you not find like right
northern
now?
There, mate. You've still got the northern cuddle.
Oh, I love me a cuddle. Hey up me duck. Everything will be right. Like I used to like go up and like hug people and be like, hey, how's it going? Even people I didn't even know. Like you'd be like, oh, this is my friend Sarah and John. I'd be like, oh, how's it going? How you doing? I'm Ricky. You want everyone to feel great and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now I feel like you're bumping into your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend where you just don't know if to touch people and you're just like, hey, what's up? Yeah,
it's this fist pump now, isn't it? Everyone's doing this.
It's not even that because people don't want to even touch. So it's that awkward conversation with an ex where if you bumped into your ex-girlfriend with her new partner and you're just like, hey, how's it going? You good? From a distance? You good?
Oh man,
what's going on here? Are we going to? No. Space is good.
Oh man! So tell us, lastly, what's next for your project? Obviously with American Gods, and you know what? We finally got Amazon back here, so we're on. Don't tell us too much because we're on the second season. And I was actually very surprised at how strong that show was. Like the first opening stuff, I was like, "Whoa, okay!" Like it's just so good and powerful. The bar fight, bloody hell!
See, for me, season 1 was epic. Brian Fuller and Michael Green are incredible. I mean, Brian Fuller did Hannibal, so that's kind of got those beautiful visuals and all the blood and stuff.
Yeah.
And you got Michael Green who did like Logan, which is possibly one of my favorite films at the moment. The Wolverine one, Wolverine with Heart. It was a beautiful film. And so what they did was really fantastic. In season 2, we changed showrunners. And I'm not supposed to say it, but being British and Northern, I like to tell the truth no matter what in the industry. I'm like, I don't think it was as good as season 1. But if I lie about everything, people aren't going to believe me when I tell the truth. So for me, when I say season 3 jumps again, and I think the quality is better in season 3 than it was in season 2 because we just didn't have the right writers. I'm not saying they weren't as good. Our show is very specific in genre. And I think you can be a great writer, but just not a great writer for this show. Mm-hmm. And for me, season 3, we brought in this fantastic creative team with Charles Egley, who did Dexter, Walking Dead. He's done all these kind of incredible things. Season 2 was a very inexperienced showrunner and writing team. But season 3, he brought me in, for the beginning and in the writing room and seeing them all work. And the writing room that, we're living in a world full of kind of black squares where all networks and shows and companies are posting, black voices, minority voices, female-led, voices. Let's amplify minorities and things like that. There's one thing talking about it. There's another thing seeing some action. Charles Egley, Neil Gaiman, American Gods in season 3 are facilitating that change, not only on camera with the likes of, we've got, on this show, you've got like Yetide Badaki, Omid Abtahi, Ashley Reyes, we've got Dominique Jackson, Leela Lauren, we've got Danny Trejo. We've got some incredible kind of people coming in, but they have that kind of diversity off camera as well. Yeah. We have a writing room which is roughly 10% cisgendered white straight male. The rest is LGBTQ, black, white, biracial, native, men, women. It's formerly incarcerated because they want as much representation and authentic kind of representation as possible. And that diversity is so important now in this time. And so season 3 really does pop. And we've got some great storytelling. I feel like season 2 was a lot of people like talking at each other, like having these long monologues and speeches, these audition pieces, where you're just like waiting for the person, and they're great, and the information's fantastic. But in season 3, people actually have conversations like that you follow, and you're like more engaged with because it's a normal situation, So I'm looking forward to getting to season 3. When you get to season 3, get back to me. You're doing it the right way. You're going to be able to binge all the way through season 3, which is going to be fun.
You know what? It's you've brought me and my wife together more times than not with 100, and then obviously now American Gods, mate. And she's just nipped out for Lincoln, and you made her a video last time in Gold's Gym. Remember? He was like, "When you come over to Gold's," and yeah, I was like, "If you're here before you go for kids, I'm gonna." And she'd be so, man, she loved you in 100. She was like, "Why the hell did they have to kill him off that bloody show?"
They had to kill me because I wanted to leave.
No, you know what? I was doing my research before, and I actually read that. But and it was your mum again.
But it was my mum, Mama Bear. Don't mess with Mama Bear. She's the one that blew the whole thing up.
Like, I know. I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, I was just like, I just wanted to leave the show. You know, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get out of a bad situation. I want to go and do me. Warner Brothers and CW were really good about it. They were like, no, fine, you know, we'll let you go and audition for stuff and leave at the end of the season. Yeah. And then I booked American Gods, and it was great. But then the showrunner like went and rewrote that episode and killed me there and then as soon as he found out I was the lead in this. Wow. And my mum knew everything. And when she saw that this dude was getting credit, she was like, this guy did not kill off my son. Like, my son chose to leave because you're a dick. It was just Mama Bear looking out for her, you know, her son. And yep. I'll never blame her for that. I'll never call her out for that. You know, she can do, and what she's telling the truth. So, you know, if she was lying or embellishing, then I'd be like, Mom, you're making my life real tough. but she's a northern lass, you know, she's from Manchester. She's like, I tell you what, like, if he were in my face, you'd get one. You know, she's the best. She's the best, man. I love my mom. I'm a mama's boy. I love my fam, love my life. Life is good, brother.
Man,
I actually need to quickly apologize. When you do watch episode 5 in season 3, my character does an Australian accent, and I want to apologize to all of Australia.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was okay. I've been told it's not bad. Emily Browning gave me the seal of approval. She thought it was funny.
Have you been out here yet? Have you been out Australia?
I've been out a couple of times. I love Australia. I always said if things didn't work out in America or LA anyway, I was going to move to Australia because I love that country. You know, I love the people. I think they're very close to Brits. You know, they just fun-loving, just want to have a good time, chilled, hilarious, sarcasm.
Mate, there's one word that they do not get, and I'll tell you really quickly. When I first came over here and somebody was like, Glenn, and I was like, what? And they was like, oh. And I was like, what? And they was like, you're a bit standoffish, aren't you? I was like, what do you want? And yeah, oh no, mate, it's pardon. I'm like, that doesn't even go in context, because it's like, Ricky, pardon? It's
what?
Yeah, exactly. I knew your face because I didn't get it. And they was like, oh, you know, when you say what, it comes across as quite passive aggressive. And I'm like, you said Glenn, I said what? Is that not normal? Like, because British people,
you're asking what? It's short for what do you want?
Mate, I was confused for ages when I first hear, and then I had to start saying pardon, and then I met another British person. I was like, ooh, maybe don't say what.
But that's the thing. It's lost in translation. It's the same in America, you know. You're just nipping outside for a fag, and they're like, wait, whoa, we don't talk like that. You're like, it's a cigarette.
Yeah. You know, in America, you're not allowed to call people mate, neither, are you? I learned this. There's a new application called Clubhouse that I was on, and I kept on Australian. Everyone says mate. So I said it to this woman on there. I was just friendly endearment. I was like, oh, thanks, mate, for sending that. And she said, you know, as I've got to know you, I need to say, why do you keep calling, like, me mate? I'm like, because we've got to know each other, and it's kind of Australians. You say good day, mate, hey mate. And she was like, oh, in America, it's almost like you're courting, like that's my mate. And I was like, oh wow, I'm married. Sorry about that.
Whoa!
Oh my, I'll go to my thing. So where can people find more information about you, and what's next for you, mate?
Don't ever go on Google. Don't Google me.
What's on Google?
It's just funny. I'm just always like, never believe what you read. It's crazy. But no, I'm on Instagram as my name, just Ricky Whittle on Instagram, and then on Twitter as Mr. Ricky Whittle, because someone had Ricky Whittle and then tried to sell me my domain, and I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah, they were like, I want 5,000. I was like, never gonna happen. 2, nope. 1, nope. 200 pounds. And I was like, you're not a very good negotiator.
Bloody hell, seriously.
Yeah.
Wow.
They literally went down to 200 pounds, and I was just like, I'm good. I'm Mr. Ricky Whittle now. I'm fine.
Bloody hell. Well, I just want to say, mate, on behalf of the campaign, on behalf of me, you're amazing. You're a legend, mate. So thank you very much for coming on, taking your time out. And yeah, thank you very much.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for having me. Good luck with the campaign. You've always got a good heart, and you're thinking of others before yourself, man. And that's why, we'll always kind of be reaching out to each other, because you're good people, and you got to keep those good people close, man. So stay safe, stay blessed, love to the family. And hopefully, we catch up sooner rather than later.
Well, mate, flights aren't taking off. So I don't know. It's like I will say, when it was like I was seeing all these tweets and I was seeing all these people going, can't wait for 2020 to be over. 2021's around. I'm like, it's not just going to miraculously disappear, guy.
Yeah. They're like, New Year, it's gone. It's fine.
Oh, it's madness. But everybody that's listening, I'm going to be putting the links up shortly. So make sure you go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, find the Imperfectly Perfect podcast to listen to this episode as well as all our latest episodes. But until next time, keep having the hard conversations, guys. So that's what's going to keep saving lives. So thank you.